Hey everybody, here we are again in Unity. Today we're going to be using that tile set which we made last time in order to get some platforms going. So I'm sure you saw in the demonstration we're going to be able to use these platforms just as we use these little ground things right here. I'm going to start off by just deleting them. They've served their purpose and now they can get out of here. Now what I've gone ahead and done for my tiles is I've created a couple of folders. So I went, made a tiles folder and then tile palettes, that's something else. But in the tiles folder I've saved the PNG for my tile set. When I imported it into Unity, I just messed around with a couple of its settings. So it's a little similar to what we've done with animations previously. So we set the sprite mode to multiple, because we're going to be pulling multiple things out of this sprite. And then I went to pixels per unit and I matched the pixels per unit with the grid size that I was using when I was in my Photoshop-esque software. So we want the grid size to match the pixels per unit because that's going to affect the way that this is cut. And you can see here, I'll just drag it up instead of opening up the window. You can see here that I've used a grid to cut up my tile set. In order to do that, I just went to the Sprite Editor. So we open that up. And then in the Sprite Editor, I go to Slice. And instead of automatic, we do grid by cell size. And then I hit Slice. I applied that and everything was good to go. And we'll get straight into working with our tiles to create platforms. What I want to do real quick is just adjust my camera a little bit. Make the area just bigger so that we have more stuff to work with here. Carefully avoiding this glitched out shot. I'm still not sure how to get rid of that, but oh well. Okay, so we have this blank space and we can see in the camera preview nothing's happening. And that's a great opportunity for us to create some platforms. Now you'll remember previously I talked about the advantages of these platforms. You can use them in a variety of ways. They're just kind of like Lego bricks. So the first step that we're going to take is we're going to right click in the hierarchy, go to 2D object and then tile map. And this is going to create a grid. And we're going to work by that grid. This grid is our friend. Many grids are going into this project, and this is just one more of them. So we have a grid, and that's all good. So our grid's just kind of here. If we look under our grid, we have what's called a tile map, and our tile map will allow us to add in our little blocks. But in order to do that, we kind of need a palette. Just like an artist needs a palette of different colors, and just like you'd have a palette in Photoshop or something, we need a palette to work with our tiles. So I'm going to go to Window, and then we'll go to 2D and Tile Palette. And here you're going to see one of the palettes which I already have. It's from the demonstration. But just for you, I'm going to create a new palette. So I'll go to the Tiles menu, and then Create New Palette. And then we leave everything as it is. We just want to use the cell size, so everything's fine. We want rectangles for our grid, so everything's good here. We hit create, and it's going to open up a window and ask us to select a folder. So I'm selecting the tile palettes folder, and then it wants us to drag in the tile. So what we do is we've got these individual tiles here, and we're just going to drag the parent in, just like with our animations. If I'm correct there. And then we select the folder again. And we go reuse. And there we have it. We have our tile palette. And it appears just the same as when we created it. So everything's in the same spot, so we don't have to worry about rearranging this whole thing again outside of our other software. Everything's been done, and Unity respects that, which means we can just get on with a good honest piece of work. Okay, now I'm going to demonstrate how we can use our tile palette. So we have different tools on our tile palette, and today we'll just be using this brush mainly. So there's a couple of things. We have this cursor, it's a selection tool. We have this move tool. We have a brush, which you can guess that's a brush to add stuff in. And then we have a rectangular tool. That means I can drag across and create loads of tiles. We have this little pipette, which means we can figure out, hey, I like that tile, but I can't remember where it is, so we just kind of pick it up. Eraser tool and a fill bucket. And we're going to just be working with this today. So let me just draw up a little bit of ground. See how easy that is? And then I can do that. I can do this. Then I click here, drag all this across. And what I've done there, I can just erase that. And then just drag this through the center. And there we have it. We've got a platform. Alright, let's play our game, because we got our platform sorted, so everything should be good, right? Well, wrong, because nothing's ever that easy. Not with Unity, at least. So what do we need to do? Well, of course, we need to add some colliders to this stuff, because we know that's how it works. Every time we need to collide with something, we need to tell Unity we want a collider, otherwise it would be making colliders where we didn't want colliders, and I don't think we'd be too happy with that. So we go to our tile map under the grid. I'm going to go to Add Component, Tile Map, and then Tile Map Collider. And boy, doesn't that look clean and neat and stuff. So this is our collider. Our character will be able to walk all over this, as well as the enemy here. Okay, it's not really what we wanted. Okay, DPS race. Great. Enemy's gone. Okay, so we can walk on this. That's great. That's fantastic. But it's kind of inefficient at the same time. You can see that inside of the object there's still colliders, and we don't really need that. It's not going to do anything wacky like blow up, but it is a little inefficient. So how can we fix that issue? Well, with the tile map selected, I then go to Add Component, Physics 2D, and then we're going to go to Composite Collider 2D. And that's going to automatically make a rigid body, and we're going to set that to static, otherwise our stuff is going to fall. And with this composite collider in the inspector for our object or our ground tiles, we're going to go back to our tile map collider and then check used by composite. And this means that all of those internal squares don't have a collider anymore, but it still generates a collider right on the boundary of our tiles, so we still have that collision that we want. And now that I'm playing the game, you can see no problems with the colliders. DPS race again. Alright, and yeah, everything seems pretty good. I could also demonstrate something. So I've just minimized the game view, and I just like to show you what happens if you say delete a block with this composite collider selected. So we're gonna go to scene. I'm just gonna go blah, and then blah again, and whoa, our character just they land on the inside of the block. There wasn't a collider there before, but it updates that collider. So that's an automatic process that just happens when using the composite collider, which is pretty good for us because we don't have to worry if we say, you know, we want to edit it as we play to see how it's going in a smoother way. We just don't have to fret because we know that our colliders are going to be made. So I just do that, but bop, boom, great. And then I go back to my game, I jump on this and I collide with it, jump back on this and I collide with it, and there we have it. That's our tile maps, that's our tiling sorted. Thank you so much for bearing with. I do apologize that I've been on a mini hiatus. Things have just been crazy right now in a great way, just good things happening, taking up my time, but unfortunately taking my time away from this beautiful games development engine. If you did enjoy this and are enjoying the series, there is going to be a lot more content coming to the channel. I'm working on getting a couple more pieces of equipment that are gonna just upgrade the quality of videos on this channel, and hopefully I'll be able to upgrade the quality of my upload schedule. Anyway, that has been me. Press any button with a tiling tutorial. We are done for now, but expect to see me soon.